each of us, there burns the fury of a warrior. In every generation, a few are chosen to prove it.
One of you three will decide the outcome of the tournament.
Three strangers will travel to the mystical realm of Outworld to defend our people against Shang Tsung.
You will die.
And his forces of darkness. In an ancient tournament. One more victory.
Your soul is mine.
Hello, I'm Banks. And I'm Davis. We're here. Banks versus Davis podcast. Banks versus Davis. We live. Davis is actually out right now. So, I just got to hold it down for my Brody. Let y'all know right now, might get crazy. How crazy? Extremely action crazy. No, that was a bad intro. That was a horrible intro. I was trying to be cheesy, but I couldn't. But, before we even begin, though, thank y'all. 300 subscribers. Thank y'all so much. We did it. I think we actually had 301, and the goal was to get 300 by the end of this year, and we got there, man. So salute to y'all. It's nothing worse than having a bacon, but yeah. So Davis is out, but I'm holding it down as usual. Thank you to 300 as well, and it's about to get extremely entertaining. That was bad. I'm just. All right, so let's get into it ASAP, all right? On the eve of the trailer coming out, not even the eve, the trailer came out. Let's get to this mid already, all right? This is how we going to do it. As you know, anybody knows, I'm not pro Marvel. I'm not pro DC. I'm pro entertaining, all right? So far, a lot of things have not been entertaining as it relates to Disney content. Now, thank you once again to all our 301 subscribers. All the new people here, let me tell you right now, if you go back into the archives, which I hope you do, you'll understand how I get down as it relates to Disney or this phase 4. I don't know what phase Guardians of the Galaxy is in. I kind of don't give a damn. I'm not. So Davis, prior to, being out, we were going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so I won't touch on it too much. We'll have slander, though. I'm going to have slander about it. All right. So I'd like to start out the show. Let's start out negative. All right. And then we'll get to the other stuff that I got. It's not a lot that I care to talk about. It's not a lot that's going on. I have to say those topics, but do have something in mind. So Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer came out during whatever Disney event. They got 20 events that happen. It seems to be every week. So Indiana Jones came out. Loved it. Feel like one more property came out. Probably wouldn't love it even if it existed. But then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out, and I think that was the main event trailer that everybody wanted to see. 5 to 10 seconds later, yes, 5 to 10 seconds later, while watching it, I said, nope, hard pass. That's where I'm at. Off a trailer, I'm saying hard pass, and that's what I'm going by. This is not it, Chief. At this point, the holiday special is out. I'll probably check in on it, but let it go. Like you could just tell, and maybe I'm just overthinking it, but when you look at a trailer, it's supposed to give you everything or enough that you need to know about it. But looking at this trailer, the actors don't seem excited. And once again, it's a trailer, but the actors do not seem to be involved with this at all. I hate having a bacon collar. This shirt is cooked. It's done. Once you start having to do this, like you putting on a corset or something, the shirt is cooked. But no, it just seems like the actors are there for a check, which is fine because you're supposed to be a draw. Anything that you do, like I told somebody yesterday, is for you to draw money and make money. It's everything that you do in life. It's the whole reason why I do this and working like crazy all day, despite having shoot jobs early. Shoot jobs, I'm sorry, YouTube, I'm not talking violence because y'all being these days a little stickler for that, and I understand, but I mean actual job, even though, this is a job as well. It's a great job, and I love every single one of you that's here. It could be because shouts out to Sean as well. Good brother. Yeah. It's probably because of that, just based on it's just I'm going to DC. That's all it is. He literally pulled. So as y'all see, my name is there. Let me make sure I take this off. The Jeff Jarrett podcasting. So with Jeff Jarrett, if you're familiar, he did the job for China, lost the Intercontinental title at No Mercy 99 and stay in the kitchen match. They should bring that back. And to stay in the kitchen match. Then he immediately showed up to Nitro. As a kid, that was crazy to me. I was like, wait, he was just on this show. So James Gunn is now pulling a Jeff Jarrett. I don't know about that. You're going to shed a tear because it's mid. Don't spend your money. Just watch the stream instead. But the trailer just showed, it just seems like nobody is involved with it. They have Adam Warlock, if you're familiar with that. That's actually the guy that took down Thanos, got the Infinity Gauntlet. The guy from Peacemaker, and I wish Davis was here so he could, well, more than one reasons. I miss you, Davis. But I wish he was here so he can then tell me who the actor's name is from Peacemaker. He's supposed to be the main villain in this. Dude, I have no intentions of watching the show. Like none. I can't even think of a reason to watch it. Like I'll watch the end credits, but you can catch that online. Like I don't want to watch this at all. And it's like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, I was excited. I watched it, didn't like it. I'm trying to think. I think I've watched every property from Phase 4. I gave it a chance, and it was like, all right, cool. I even watched Black Widow. If you hear my review on Black Variant, the first time I was on here, I talked about it. I was like, yo, nah, he ate some bad KFC, so he's out. He needs to stop eating fast food. That's what happens when you keep eating Domino's every day. Y'all see it on the BRP, just eating Domino's. Gouging himself with Domino's is crazy, but I understand where he at. They have no actual pizza spots. Nah, so yeah, like the past couple of days, I've been thinking about is watching like No Way Home. I've been thinking about watching that. And but even that, it's like cut it down to about, cut an hour out. Honestly, you don't need that much. And, I was excited about it, watched it, and I was like, all right. So that's where they are with it. And it's like when you're the biggest entertainment franchise in history, that's what's going to happen. And like I said, I'm holding all reserve until the movie comes out, even though I have no intentions of watching it. You're absolutely right. He said he's too old for this. I'm getting too old for this shit. He hit us with the Danny Glover. Like, I can't keep on acting like this. And it seems like everybody just kind of like over it, as you should be. 3 movies, 2 cameos in Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. What else? They got the holiday movie I might tap into. So it's like, this is a lot at this point. It's a lot to keep doing it, especially for somebody of Dave Bautista's age, and he's like an actor. So it's I'll pass, man. I'll pass. The Indiana Jones trailer was actually pretty good. They have the de-aging, but like I said, once again, I'll hold all reserve about that, just because I want to wait till Davis get here, and he does this little promos and he throws his tantrums and XYZ about, this and that with filmmaking because he wants to see, artsy type movies and wear his little hat. They are. And just wear his hat. That's exactly what Davis want to do. So I'll wait on it. I'll just say that. I'll wait to talk about it. But anyhow, today's show, got to be honest with y'all. Anybody that's listening, anybody that's watching, thank you all for being here. Once again, thank you for the 300 subscribers. Reason why this episode is me by myself. If you did not hear, Davis is out. All right. Davis is out right now. He's okay, but he's out right now. He ate some bad Waffle House. Well, Waffle House has never gotten people sick. Like, I've ate Waffle House plenty of times, and I got a stomach of steel, but Waffle House has never done anything wrong. The only thing about Waffle House is the violence that comes with it. Otherwise than that, you don't have to worry about getting sick. I never heard anybody get sick, especially if you eat at 2 a.m. off drunk food. Yeah, it's a possibility. It might help you, yo. Like, that might be the elixir of life is the syrup in there. Or it might just be plain old diabetes. But not a lot to talk about other than, as y'all see the past couple episodes, all new listeners here, the past couple of weeks, we've really been just going off the top of the head. It's because there's not a lot going on in general, to be honest. So you kind of got to wait and see things play out. And obviously we had the trailers this week, but he's not here. So I'll wait on it. Otherwise than that, I'll find some way to keep y'all entertained. All right. Not a lot to talk about, but I'll find something to keep you entertained. And if you see the title, because I'm definitely, keeping the title up. There's no way I'm going to change that. You feel me? Because Davis is a white hero. He's a lot of people's white hero. People love Davis. The white hero. But I don't think he ever done Kung Fu. Definitely between those. I don't think he's ever done Kung Fu. He ain't no Jean-Claude Van Damme. Which leads to my topic. I'm going to talk about white heroes or superhero-esque people. Since we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy being mid, I'll talk about somebody who they said is his movies are mid, but I digress. I'll be talking about like white action movie stars. I could talk about black ones as well, but because the white man ain't here, I will act like he is here, and maybe he's the hero of this podcast. I don't know. Let's start with Jean-Claude Van Damme. All right. And this strictly is just based on for the old people. I'm from the old school, y'all. So anybody that's around my age or older, you understand the significance of action movies and the impact that they had in the 90s. Like, my thoughts and my memories of watching action movies at my grandmother's house, playing Super Nintendo, brings me joy, brings me a happy place, So today I just improvised. I was like, why not just talk about like older action movies or action movie stars and the white heroes, the playoffs, just because in the 90s that's mostly was it. And then it was just not Jim Kelly, Billy Blanks and Wesley Snipes were like the only like martial arts background black men that we had. Like, that's it. And it's like the other ones ran Hollywood. So yeah, no, for sure, Sean. I won't go back into the 80s. I'll just stick with the 90s mostly, just because the 80s for me, it's like I don't even think I've watched a lot of 80s action movies, like Three the Hard Way, something like that. I don't think I've actually watched those. I'm mostly just staying with the 90s just because the memories and facts. So we'll get to the first one. I'll probably do like the legit like martial arts guys, and then I'll get to like the action movie stars and stuff like that. But the first one being Jean-Claude Van Damme. All right. I gotta look at my screen, so my eyes might be like current Jean-Claude Van Damme. I gotta, he got the wonky Shawn Michaels eyes. That's called perks and cocaine, kids. Stay away from that and getting hit in the head. So Bloodsport came out in 88, but like many others around my age, you saw it on rerun. So 88 is the year I was born. So I obviously didn't get to see it. I think I saw that like in the mid 90s on TNT. back in the day, TNT would play all the action movies. It would play Lois and Clark. They play, it's another show they would play on TNT. Like if you miss school, AT&T would be on. That was my go-to. Whenever I was home, my grandmother made me watch TNT movies and TV shows and stuff like that. And then if you're around this age, probably staying at home, Rizzoli and Isles is probably your TNT show of the day. And then if you really like stayed home and you was up early enough to stay home, you definitely watching The Price is Right. So I'm gonna stay with The Price is Right. But I remember Bloodsport is when he got the sand thrown in his eye and he went OD. Mind you, he caught a couple, punches here and there, but that sand in his eye, and he just started like tweaking when he got hit in the eye with the sand, like like screaming bloody murder, looking like Kevin. What's his name? I'm about to say Kevin McCall. Like that's the dude from Deuces. Kevin, whatever his name is, Macaulay Culkin's character of Home Alone. When he was looking like that jabroni, he was like, all right. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I get distracted with these group chats. That's why I hate group chats. Yo, if you in a group chat with me, you see how I respond, yo. Except for the one me and Dot are in, because that's a great group chat. So I remember seeing Bloodsport, and I remember he got geeked up because he got sand in his eye, and he had to just use his wits in order to win. Universal Soldier, that was 1992, and I'll also talk about Dolph Lundgren, who doesn't get a lot of love. Like Dolph Lundgren is very underrated, maybe the most underrated action movie star ever. He gets no love at all. Double Impact, Hard Target, and then Street Fighter. So Street Fighter is actually my favorite movie by him besides Time Cop. Time Cop is also on their Quest Double Team. So this is around the time in the 90s, like any type of property, you were getting a video game. Like easily. It's so many properties back then that didn't need video games, and they got video games. Like they first did the crossover to Aliens versus Predator. So you get to play as Predator and you kill the aliens. So they did that on Super Nintendo. Great, like side scroller. And that's the era of side scrollers I come from, with Streets of Rage and damn near any game, Marvel, Gems, World of Gems, Spider-Man, etc. And it's probably because it was a technical aspect as to why you couldn't even do a full 3D, but it's there. So like Street Fighter was like the first movie I remember watching vividly from Jean-Claude. That and Time Cop. And I've watched Time Cop multiple times, which is a wild movie, but I've seen it. Street Fighter. That's a Street, sorry. No, Street Fighter. Street Fighter. I solely love that because I was a Street Fighter fan, even as a shorty. So that was phenomenal. RIP to the guy that played I was about to say Saget. He played fucking M. Bison. I still gotta do a watch along. I think I actually said that on this show, or I thought about it. I gotta do a watch along Street Fighter. Like, I just actually thought about watching, especially because Dion, Prime Time is out here, being Prime Time, and he did Straight to My Feet, which is a phenomenal song and video. I remember that's what made me a Dion fan even more than him just playing with the Cowboys, because he did Straight to My Feet. Street Fighter, by the way, if anybody hasn't listened, listen to the Street Fighter soundtrack, yo. Like, I've never heard it. And I went to the Street Fighter soundtrack a couple of months ago. I'm like, yo, it's just phenomenal. Like, Nas got a song on there. I think Meth has a song on there. Like, they spent a lot of money back in the 90s for properties, yo. That you got to give it to them on that aspect. Like, they weren't shy of spending money on anything. Like I said, because Street Fighter was already a game, but then they had an offshoot of the movie, which was already a game, if that makes sense. I know it's like some multiverse type shit, but that actually sounds fire. They should actually put Jean-Claude in the new Street Fighter 6 that's coming out. That looks great. So I remember the game was like on, was it Sega CD? I think it was, or Sega Saturn. I think it was on Sega Saturn, and that was the only console it was on, and that didn't sell at all. And then Double Team, I just remember watching that, and that's around the time that Rodman, well, he was wilding more than usual, but they was going back to the finals. Otherwise than that, John Claude, Universal Soldier too. I remember being hyped because they had Bill Goldberg in it. Otherwise than that, when you look at his discography recently, it's not that much. I mean, the past couple of years he's done not even like red box movies. These more so like, I don't know, trash bin, trash box, like the box you put your clothes and you want to give them away type movies. That's what it seems to be. But you know, working actors that work at acting are actors, so he's made something. You know what I mean? You got to keep the bills on. As far as his catalog, if I'm just looking at it right now, ranking it, for that time period, I give John Claude probably like maybe a 4. Because it's like it's some movies I personally mess with, but of course the reviewers don't know, but they don't know anything. Like Rotten Tomato. Like imagine listening to somebody from Rotten Tomato, a reviewer, actual professional reviewer. Because how can you actually be a professional reviewer anyway when you give me your opinion? If that's the case, I'm very much a professional reviewer. But and then why would you listen to Rotten Tomatoes? Because tomatoes are disgusting. But if I give his catalog any ranking, I give it a 4. I give it a 4 just because I love the Expendables 2 as well. That's my last favorite movie by him, which is 10 years old, which is crazy. But I think I seen Nowhere to Run, and I might go through these. I don't know if I'm gonna put them on the Patreon. I don't know if I can do that. That's a lot, but I might do it. Actually, give me an idea. All right, so moving on. Jean-Claude Van Damme, just for clarification, his catalog, facts, Sean, definitely $5 bin, easily in the back. So just for clarification, Jean-Claude Van Damme catalog, it's a 4 out of 5. Who else should I go with? Let's go with another martial artist, and then we'll get to like the movie stars. So Dolph Lundgren, or actually, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go with Chuck Norris, who's a legit black belt martial artist. All the jokes, which are hilarious a couple years ago, or I should say last decade or so ago. Yeah, last decade. And they were like, why did the lion saw Chuck Norris and roared at itself, or those type of jokes? It's very on brand to what Chuck Norris was. Chuck Norris was like he was like an urban legend, so to speak, about his martial arts status. Like it's known, but it wasn't known. Like imagine Chuck Norris having social media in 2022. Like all the jokes would be there, and they'll write themselves just because people will talk about, you know, him and beating people up and whipping them with the Ronda Rousey whip. That was kind of wild to say that, but you know, you get what I mean. He was definitely he was doing the little ninjutsu style, you know, ninjutsu style of martial arts. I don't even know what it was, but I could look it up. Hold on. Oh, Tang Sudo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo. Damn. This motherfucker is a badass. He got on the combinations. That's crazy. Yeah, he a black belt. So he was in the Air Force, which is smart. Go to the Air Force, kids, if y'all go to the military. Great benefits. It's more fun. So definitely do that. Yeah, he's legit martial artist. So I remember, of course, like everybody else probably seen on Walker, Texas Ranger, because The Way of the Dragon, which was, I believe, Bruce Lee's last movie, but it was edited improper just because they edited it right, but they couldn't really shoot it the way they wanted to just because he passed at that point, if this is the movie, and they had doppelgangers just playing him. Expendables 2, here we go. Expendables 2, once again, I'm going to definitely have to watch that. Missing in Action, Enter the Dragon, which is a masterpiece. Lone Wolf. So if you're familiar with Lone Wolf, it's probably because of that cover. Like that cover is very on brand to like 80s action movies, yo. like the explosions in the background, the face to face off. That's what really drove the people. This is at a time where you'll see the trailer if you go see another movie, but that poster has to stick out now. Eye for Eye is popular. I won't even have a review for this because I haven't seen a lot of his movies. I just remember Walker, Texas Ranger. I did see Top Dog though. I saw Top Dog one time. You feel me? I forgot when. Years ago, of course, but Top Dog. Yeah, so a lot of his movies I haven't seen, to be honest with you all. But I still wanted to, give a little insight into who he is. And the only thing I can say about it is no rating. Because why would I rating? That's what people need to realize. You can't rate everything, even if you haven't heard it or watched it. What are different? Sorry. Yeah, he was doing like squats on the roof, one hand push-ups. I'm making that up, but see, it's still stories. But I don't have a review for his catalog because I haven't seen a lot of these movies. Can't lie to you. All right, let's go to Dolph Lundgren. I'm sorry, Dolph Lundgren, aka Ivan Drago. I want to kill you. Guys, big break from Rocky 4. He did Masters of the Universe, which I keep forgetting that they actually did live action Masters of the Universe. I need to go back and watch that Netflix show that Kevin Smith wrote and produced, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I still haven't seen it. So we got Universe Soldier again. We got the first Expendables, which is hilarious. He played rocket science, so to speak, with a huge. No, he didn't have the shotgun, but he was just like a rocket science. They just like, damn, he really is smart. He's not all the way there, but he's smart. Creed 2, of course, he played Ivan again. Rocky Balboa. I don't remember him being in Rocky Balboa, so it must have been a cameo because I haven't seen that in a minute. Like, I ain't seen him. I ain't seen that movie in a minute, and nor have I seen Antonio Tarver. Aquaman, he played the Pops, the Punisher from 1989. I think I saw that one. Is that when I think that's when he rode around the microphone. That's when he rode on a motorcycle throughout the whole movie. That's all I really remember from it. Masters Universe. Yeah, I've never seen this before. How does it look? It looked like some Road Warrior type stuff. Yeah. They just got him in baby oil, though, yo. Like, he just dripping. He glistening in baby oil, yo. That's wild. But no, this looks actually pretty good, yo. Minus that all this damn baby oil on his body to have him shining like he about to get fried. This looks good. I might actually tap into it. They need to update it though. I would like to see a new one. Like all these remakes and stuff, they need to make a new Masters Universe. I thought they were, but probably not. That's crazy. I'm gonna tap into that. But far as his other movies go, let's see. Let's show down Little Tokyo. He has a lot of. So the thing is with him, I noticed. Like I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but he's really like underground. Yeah, no, Flash Gordon is a masterpiece. He's really like one of them underground type like acts. I can't even say that because he played Ivan Drago, so you know who Ivan is. I must break you. You know exactly who he is. So, but he never got to that point of his confidence. He never got to like that huge level. He kind of just stayed like he'll show up and you be like, oh, okay, that's Ivan Drago. Like that's it. But he's part of history because of that movie. But for the most part, if you probably want to be known for something else other than that. But also as a worker and actor, them checks clear. I'm not too much worried about, will they, am I getting booked or getting booked properly? It's like, nah, you are. You just, you gotta just make sure, man, you just work. And it's called a working actor. So you see all the mainstream ones. So Because I haven't seen a lot of his discography. No review. Honestly, I don't even need a review. I'll just do it just because. He played the Punisher in 1989. That's crazy. I think, yeah, I seen this years ago. And it was like Terminator-esque. Because I believe this is after Terminator 1, which it was, and then 2-3 years before Terminator 2. This is before that. It looks pretty good. I wonder how it's probably not as gory as the last one. The last Punisher, I forgot the name. Oh, Warzone. If I'm not mistaken, Warzone was fire. Like Punisher Warzone, Frank Castle was out here looking like a mob boss, but still he's putting in work. He's putting in work. The one that had Thomas Jane in it was fire too. And that's the one from like 04 or something like that. That one was pretty good with John Travolta being a mob, you being a psycho. But yeah, no review on that. Showdown Little Tokyo. I've heard of the movie. I never watched it, but I've heard of it before. Might have to add it to my list. I need to start a film list. All right, so let me get to like the main card. Let me get to the main card, guys. Being Sliced Alone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. People love saying that name too. Y'all not low. Arnold Schwarzenegger, nigga. Yeah, y'all not low. I know why y'all be saying his name like that. You feel me? And then Bruce Willis. So we go into like the 3 white hero top heels and baby faces, or I should say biggest book in that day. You couldn't go anywhere in the world and not hear these 3 names. All right. To this day, they still was Arnold is sitting down. Facts. God bless him. Arnold's sitting down. You feel me? He's just doing these reviewing people's body. He's like, yes, it looks like a sculpture. It looks great. He's doing that. All right. Kanye definitely want to meet his grandfather too as well. Anyhow, he chilling. Bruce Willis obviously got diagnosed with alias a couple months ago, as we found out. So he can't speak at all. So it's the reason why he was doing all those bad movies. People was trying to figure out why he was doing bad movies when he was already a legend after Die Hard 1. Working actor. You got kids. The inevitable might happen. You don't want to be left without a will. You feel me? So I'll start with shit, man. Yeah, let me start with Stallone because he has a resume, but Bruce Willis has a resume, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger has a resume, but his resume is like, oh, I got Terminator, I got this, I got that. So it's not fair. But let's get into Sly Stallone. So Rocky, good movie. First Blood, Expendables. Mind y'all, while I'm doing this, I'm just kind of picking the ones that I've seen or saw like years ago. I'm not going, just do the whole list. But, I'll give y'all a breakdown of the movies I found interesting. Rocky, of course, let's just do Rocky series in general. And then Creed was great because he played the mentor. I saw Rambo Last Blood over the summer. Yo, it was wilding. They was wilding, yo. Like that Last Blood felt a little bit like Mafia 3, which is one of my favorite games ever. But it's so gruesome, yo. Vietnam, there you go. Escape Plan. I wanted to love that movie so bad, but it was bad. I thought he said he wasn't in Creed 3. All right. Cobra. Let's see. Demolition Man, Cliffhanger, Over the Top, Judge Dredd. I saw Bullet Train. Bullets to the Head. I'm sorry. Bullets to the Head, which came out in 2020 or 2012. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all got to forgive me too. I'm going to give out this disclaimer. I am on fumes, big fella. I'm on 2 hours of sleep, so my mind is just like, so y'all got to forgive me about this. I'm sorry. There's a whole comedy death metal band called Austrian Death Machine that dedicated to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yo, this is why I like death metal, yo. Or like rock music, because people find ways, not saying like other genres don't get creative, but they'll find out weird names, or they'll find out a way to make a song out of anything. And it's basically everybody gets stomped out music for white people. Like, white people got the most violent music ever. They can't talk about rappers, yo. Like, death metal is bringing up demons to whoop somebody's ass. And I'm just here just to jump and get in the mosh pit and have fun. But that's one thing, a mosh pit, like, they be wild in the mosh pits. People be getting touched on, hit up, all that. So no thanks to that. But shouts out to that death metal, man. Thank you, Sean, as usual. Escape Plan 2. What the fuck? It was the second one? Who's in this? How you get locked up in the same place, y'all? Dave Bautista was in it, and 50 Cent. Where the hell have I been? Oh, I do remember seeing this. Okay, I remember seeing the cover, and it was just like, all right. Is that Tyson Woodley? I think that is him. Yo, what is this movie, yo? I might have to actually watch it. Maybe. I don't know how long I'll survive. All right. I never seen Oscar, Escape Plan, the Extractors. Paradise Alley, never seen it. I remember him in Spy Kids 3D. That's when he played like, not a dictator. I think he was like a sergeant or something like that. And his face like popped in front of the camera. Yeah, his discography is not that huge, at least for the part I'm seeing right now. Because if you go to Wikipedia, they just show all of it. And it's like, that's too much. But his discography is solid. If I got to give it a rating, I'll give Sly Stallone's discography or filmography. I guess they're saying it's not music. Filmography. I'll give his filmography a 3 out of 5 is fine. Because like a lot of these movies, I probably wouldn't go back and tap in. To be honest with y'all, like I don't think I'm gonna go back and tap into like Cobra. Why would I go back and watch Cobra? Especially not Copland. You know, I don't fuck with 12. So I'm not going to Copland. Yeah, I'm good on that one. So let's move on. Schwarzenegger was like Sly Stallone is famous, but Schwarzenegger famous. All right. So the Terminator movies, yeah, except for the third one. Third one was ass. Predator, yeah. Commando's cool. Terminator, speaking of Terminator Dark Fate was actually fire, yo. Like the last time I watched it was like last year, like early last year, but it was fire to me. I really enjoyed it. Like the story, the premise, everything, how they had to go do this and do that. Woo. You already know what the business is, but we already know. I think this the universe. Spoiler alert. I'm going to get quiet for a minute. Spoiler alert as it pertains to Terminator Dark Fate. All right, fuck that. I think this is when like the son died that was supposed to be the savior, and it was somebody else instead. Like I ain't seen it since last year, but that's the premise I remember. But you know, the go home was fire too. The go home spot was great. So Total Recall, one of my favorite movies. I hate that remake with Colin Farrell. I really don't like that. Twins, True Lies, Kindergarten Cop, Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, I don't need to see that. And that's a 40-year-old movie at this point. Terminator Rising Machines, nope. Genesis, never seen it. Jingle All the Way. A favorite of mine, Batman and Robin, of course. For his ridiculous quote. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. What's going on, Vinny? Talking about white superheroes or white action movie stars back in the 90s. That's what we're talking about right now. For anybody that just tapped in, thank you all for being here once again. Davis is currently out on sick leave. He'll be back. Tell him to start eating Dominoes. So Last Action Hero is one of my favorite movies ever as a kid, or just in general now. I've seen this several times. Eraser, Running Man, Escape Plan, he was in Pumping Iron. I love that. It's a documentary about, you know, weightlifting. You know, I got to get my guns back. As you see, the gun show is coming back soon. People might just put that on the Patreon in general. Where was I? So, so otherwise than that, like I can keep going on. Like Hercules in New York was his first big role, and he starred in that. Like like, dude, you've been in the business that long, which is crazy. Like to see him in the business that long. The 6 day in the days I remember seeing that. I think that premise was about like the devil or some shit. At the end of the century, Satan visits New York. Satan is in New York right now, dude. Y'all ever been to the Bronx? You ever been to the Bronx show? You ever been to Brownsville? Yeah. Satan is definitely there. Just go there and check him. It won't be a dude in a red suit. It'll probably be some smoker with some dadas on. I don't know. That's where it's at. But RoboCop is great. Oh, I love that RoboCop. I'm not thinking about watching that too, so that's the irony of it. Junior, I remember seeing that. That was such a strange movie. Collateral Damage. Dude, we got a discography. Triplets. Oh yeah, I remember Triplets was rumored. Triplets was supposed to be with Tracy Morgan, Danny DeVito, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course. Eddie Murphy was supposed to be it. Yeah, this ain't coming out. Like, dog, Arnold Schwarzenegger ain't acted in a while. He has no attentions. He was a former governor of my state of California. And otherwise than that, he's just chilling, dog. He worth hundreds of millions of dollars from doing these movies, these action movies. You know what I mean? He's not coming back. Discography, though. Discography review or a filmography. I gotta get that right. Filmography review for Arnold Schwarzenegger is 4. Might be, yeah, 4. 4 is solid. Need to get higher than that because most of his movies I never go back and watch just because they that old. Not saying that's a bad thing, but all right. So facts. I don't even know if I have enough time or I want to do that right now. I might just do that on Patreon. Actually, yeah, that's what we'll do. So patreon.com/Banks versus Davis. Shameless plug. The reason why I'm saying that is because the content that we can't put here, I'll put there. I think I got a way to introduce people to Charles Bronson. And I believe they are remaking the movie with Bradley Cooper at the helm. So everything that's dead always comes back in Hollywood. Nothing ever really dies. All right, so I'll end it with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was probably second most popular. So it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, and Sly Stallone, as far as like these guys in the 90s that were like Titan and not only in Hollywood but the world. I want to say that because Die Hard is known everywhere. And that's where we start. One of my favorite movies ever, a Christmas movie, by the way. Die Hard is definitely a Christmas movie. There is no second guessing it. Like they got holiday themes in it. It took place in December. What can you do? The Sixth Sense. I remember watching The Sixth Sense and that fucking M. Night Shyamalan and that twist. Yo, I was freaking out. Like I haven't seen that movie since it came out, like at all. The last time I've seen The Sixth Sense was probably 1999 or like 03 at the earliest. I haven't seen that movie in years. That twist threw me way off. Like, what? That shit freaked me out. And I remember around the time they was talking about like people were seeing ghosts and mediums and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, bro. Now at this big age, that shit ain't gonna scare me. I've eaten top ramen a lot this year because of finances. I am not scared of no damn ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Fuck them ghosts. Yeah, you're right. They remade that footage a few years ago. Really? He's getting, yeah. Okay, so that furthers my point about Bruce Willis. They just giving him roles that he was already too old to play. Yeah, you're right, Ben. So 2018, he's already old. Pulp Fiction. So, all right, I'll say this about Pulp Fiction. Let me park it here. I like Pulp Fiction when it's just John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson's characters. When it's them two, I love it. The dialogue between them, I love it. But anything else, I'm not too much of a fan of. You know, Uma Thurman, ODing, I can live without that. Hitting her with the needle. I was like, all right. Could live without, that word being thrown around for Quentin Tarantino, but it's not a movie without saying it. That's like the parsley. Him dropping an N-bomb on the movie is like the parsley. I gotta say it. You really don't have to, but all right. Death Wish. I've never seen it. Live Free or Die Hard is phenomenal. Let's just put the franchise Die Hard all together. Those are some of my favorite movies ever. Glass was all right from 2019. I think it was just because it was a little too late. Great booking, but it was too late. And that happens a lot in wrestling. So with Glass, it's the, Mr. Glass is based on his story, and Split and them going against Split. So it was a lot of, a lot of stuff going on. The Last Boy Scout is fire. I think that has something to do with CTE. I feel like they just pulled the blower out on the court or on the field. So CTE. Death Becomes Her. I seen that. That movie freaked me out when I was a kid. Tears of the Sun. The Jacko. Bro, I ain't seen the Jacko no forever. Richard Gere. What happened to Richard Gere? I ain't heard of Richard Gere in the years. 12 Monkeys Fire. Expendables, of course, he was in there, but he was just there for, a cup of coffee. I remember they didn't put him in the second one, if I'm not mistaken, because he wanted more money, which I'm not mad at. Looper, Sin City. Never seen Sin City. The whole 9 yards. Look Who's Talking. Mercury Rising. I remember that poster. So where I grew up at in South Central, it was a rental spot. I see that poster all the time. It's like engraved in my mind. I've never seen a movie, but seen the poster. The Kid was fire. Cop Out, G.I. Joe, Retaliation, The Siege. Wow, I haven't seen that in years. Yeah. And then he got some other movies like 16 Blocks is fire. 16 Blocks is a very underrated movie, yo. Like 16 Blocks is very underrated. I don't know why it doesn't get the respect that it deserves, but it was great. Like Most Def is up here talking about baking cake. I want to bake my cake. That's all I remember him just sound like Most Def, but talking about baking cakes. Bruce Willis though, yeah. Filmography 3.5 is probably good enough. Yeah. I don't think the Die Hard franchise is good enough to put you over that. Well, I think that I do in general. What else do I got? I think that might be it. I'll be honest with y'all. Like, I'm like, y'all see my eyes, man. My eyes, man. It's just like, yeah, I'm burnt. And I'm unsure what to talk about, but we had to do it, man. Especially because, we are at 300 subscribers. Come hell or high water, I work for my brother. You feel me? It's all love. This is how we do this. This is how we all win. But that's it. Yeah, that's it. We'll talk about everything else when he's healthy again. So that's why I don't want to dwell into that too much. Not watching anything. Far as entertainment, when I have time, sports as usual. A little bit of wrestling, which is sports. And going back and playing Mafia 3, which I recommend anybody play. It's very dark. It's a dark game, and it's crazy because it's all a shoot. Not saying these characters existed, but it's a shoot that this stuff was going on. But it's still a great game. One of my favorite games ever. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, Sean, as usual. You already know I'll be there tomorrow, or as of this recording, I'll be on All Elite with Keith. So y'all can just check that out in general. I'll be on there talking again. Produce it with Graham of Public Enemies. Catch it on there, Public Enemies Podcast. With Davis, make sure you tap in BRP, Black Wrestling Podcast, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time every Thursday. Also, Vin is here. Vin he did Oddball. So the latest episode of Oddball, I got to actually listen to. And he talks about the era of video game sports shows. Or I'm sorry, sport video games. And I'm definitely want to tap into that, man. Considering that I got NFL Street 2 on the emulator and I go back to play that. I got Madden 04 as well on there just for, the hell of it and NBA Live. So y'all tap into that. Shouts out to Sparks Wrestle Rap. As usual, y'all can find me iamnotbanks on IG. On Twitter, I don't really use it. So I tell people follow the BVD pod on Twitter. Follow Davis at, I forget everybody's at. So just follow Davis at the BVD pod on Twitter. Like and subscribe here. Anybody here, once again, thank you for being here. We're at 300. That was our goal. We set that goal earlier this year. Said, damn, I want 300 by the end of the year. And I guess speaking to existence does work. So I should speak $100 million into my life. And who's my celebrity crush? I don't know. They're all taken. That doesn't matter, but respectfully, they're all taken. No. So thank you all for being here once again. We will be back next week. Episodes will be longer, of course, but just running it up right now. Thank you all.